Eyes are inevitably glued to how Onosato reacts to his Hoshoryu pasting at all stables practice. His fight back began in earnest on the following morning, with 20 bouts against Hiradoumi at the latter's Sakaigawa stable. No score given, I'm afraid. We assume Master Sakaigawa, who observed the Ozeki's every bout on tour, had some strong third-party advice to give. I consulted my own master, who replied that the best way to shake my body out of its slumber was to go up against a fast mover, the March champion explained, adding, Sakaigawa stable overall has a great training environment. The big man followed that up with a 21-bout Sunday session at his Nishonoseki base, going 17-4 over long-term friend Shirokuma and ever more solid Hananomi, who is surely now closer than ever to staking claims for his own salaried rank. It's mostly about getting bout numbers up. I'm pushing myself to be ready in time for opening day, Onosato said, hinting stamina and movement were still not up to scratch at that point. I still want to fine-tune my start and my finish, he continued, but all in all, after these 3 days of far more intense training, I'm fretting much less about not being ready in time for opening day. That 3-hour session was built upon with a visit to Sadogatake stable just a few hours ago. There he tackled resident Kotozakura 16 times and triumphed 10-6, outscoring his foe head-to-head for the second session straight. His 2 other bouts, we believe, were against Kotoshoho and guest Daisho. I was making up today for the missed chance to take on Kotozakura at last week's group practice, Onosato explained, referencing his absence that day. After standing firm in the face of multiple Sakura throat hold attacks, he said, I think my sumo's improving. There's nothing for it but to keep training hard and keep stepping up my condition. I've already lost 3 to 4 kilos since the weigh-in last week, hence my body is getting back into tournament shape. Kotozakura's response to that session, in which he went 10-11, despite lots of convincing direct assaults, was, I was focusing on how to form my stance. It just so happens I have more chances to face a fellow Ozeki these days, but it's irrelevant who I practice against. The important thing is to practice hard. Yokozuna Hoshoryu, meanwhile, took himself to Arashio stable today for further rounds with Kirishima, Wakataka Kage, and Wakamoto Haru. He went 13-5 overall, but just 4-4 against Kirishima, to whom he pleaded for extra bouts every time he lost. I was just testing out my movement, and I wasn't displeased with what I felt, Hoshoryu said after that was over. I've also removed my elbow taping today, as I don't intend to wear it for the tournament itself, he added. Now, with May the 5th being Children's Day, Takayasu has been looking back to his own childhood in an attempt to trace his sporting roots. I always liked to play outside, he began, and at the age of 10 started playing Little League Baseball. I played the role of power hitter who was constantly aiming for home runs. I remember the fantastic feeling of slogging one ball so far it went all the way into the back screen. So I'd encourage all little budding athletes to play outside whenever they can, as that will help build up strength. I say, kids, throw yourself into what you love, because you never know what talent you'll unearth. Elsewhere, those who unearthed their sumo talents at a fairly young age and are now the most exciting recruits to have passed the recent medicals have given their debut interviews. Sakaigawa Stable's Hanaoka said, I believe this particular stable will bring on my sumo loads. That's why I've turned pro after all. I would like to give a shout out to Naoya Kusano, who I've known since preschool days and who put an arm around my shoulder when I couldn't decide on my future career. I've been doing practice bouts since April 29th with 3rd Division stablemates. I want to reach salaried level within the next 12 months, with reliance on my trademark right outer arm throw. Tamanoi Stables Gyotoku, meanwhile, said, I've gone from checking out the details of the Sumo Physical on YouTube to actually taking the thing. I look forward to aiming high with my fellow fast-track debutants. As a student, I didn't join the university sumo club, but spent most of my free time coaching at my high school club instead. And those strong kids there were more than adequate sparring partners. Finally, Shusei Urayama, son of Asanoyama's late childhood coach, but who has joined Otoayama stable instead, said, I might be fast-tracked, but I'll be approaching things as if starting from square one. I aim to be like Asanoyama, and if we end up fighting soon, I'll obviously show him respect, but still go all out for the win. My apologies for listing him as a Takasago man last week. The Urayama name is so synonymous with that stable that I simply have to find out in due course why Shusei hasn't gone there.